Yes! Yes!
Yeah!
Come on!
Back in the net! You get something new as an element that people have to work out as puzzles. Engagement takes the head off of Perez, and what is a pretty steady clear here. Across the top, gets themselves locked in on towards games, and does not get any further. The meeting was called demo, and they decided Sexy Cake needed to die.
Yeah, just slightly overextended his body there with the shield. He was looking towards the opening in towards bathroom, and look at this from SDK. Goes aggro in towards meeting, but does get traded out, but still, I think Loud are in a good position. Look at the operator still on board. You've got the smoke. You've also got the Goyos, which I'm sure are still in place somewhere, unless the Twitch was able to get in there earlier. Flashy, somehow alive, but he can't stay safe.
The call's coming out, so they know exactly what he was trying there, and instead, I was going to say gets past the open door, but doesn't. Florio gets the catch and leaves just Flastry alone. 3 versus 1. ENX, a pretty steady lockdown here of the fire for now. They're not quite let in. We had the Blackbeard be that first bit of force. There's all the destruction and danger and fire around, and he's blinded as well, but nobody's confident enough to try and put any more pressure on the back. But look at the timer demo here. That grenade will do some damage, and Angels does even more. SDK, first body lost here is a defender, but with 20 seconds left, the attackers still have a lot of pressure to try and cover this final divide in towards the bunks from the side of Office itself. It's Games that starts to pop out. Basetto gets on towards Florio. They've got themselves locked in. There's even a knife kill on the door of the shield as well. The Tachanka is hot fire, but it's sprayed and put back down with Perez.
He's dead.
I mean,
Okay.
Sexy Cake is a very cautious shield player right now. They've obviously been a very aggressive shield player in history, but it seems like the game plan is you go in slowly and we'll go over your shoulders. There's 2 more kills. I mean, obviously, you can sort of talk about...
I always think of Fortress, and I always just think massive rooftop. It's like always.
Yeah.
Like, because the rooftop is huge.
Ooh, there's the first kill. And again, the defenders suffer here. They did last time. They're trying to be quite aggressive on holding this side, and it hasn't worked. Sexy Cake remembers that the shield has a gun. It was a flank that they were expecting. Yeah.
This is good. I mean, you know it's a 2v5. Just take it on site.
Well, they turn it into what is now a 2 versus 4, but as you said, one of them wasn't on site, and there's just the pressure and pressure and pressure. STK has been able to get themselves back round towards the site itself. Where the camera's hacked, not too sure, but you know that the plant is being confirmed.
Exactly where he is. 2 players are in the corridor. And Sexicate can feed this information over. This could be big, but he doesn't know which door to look at. Well, this is a mess.
Well, they do actually lock out the kills. Angel's able to get one more, and now I think it's 2 players inside meeting. They get one on the drop on the cross. They have the attention, but it's a swing round from behind either side, and STK somehow wins it out and gets himself a triple. Florio's going for the plant. He's trying to hunt the player. He just can't get there in time.
Pressure to stop those roamers getting back to the bomb site.
100%. And goodbye, Nook. On towards Force itself. They're going to play with the smoke, see if they can try and get a body on the other side. Florio's actually just going to send it for the plant, but Basetto, very easy pick up there. Look at that position, and yeah, you could try and make that work, but the fact that they had this open fight, the fact that they were trying to challenge down the corridor, the breach was loud, there was no secrecy about it. I think Loud had the full idea of what was about to happen, right? They sort of tried to route their way.
I'm the defense, and I mean, for what I've kind of seen of Loud throughout the the kind of year, I think they've been better as a defense.
They're trying to run the numbers here Loud, and unfortunately they're being a little bit stumped. They've got themselves a bit of the divide covered and live. Just goes for the swing at the perfect time. And now, with the Monty pressed up, Basetto's the man with the kit itself. They're technically inside the site, but there's still so many angles that need to be covered, so he cannot, in good conscience, just try and put his head down and go for the plant itself. Angels wins out on the swing engagement too. That's STK gone. That's Flastry getting Angels right back, and now the plant is being attempted with Flastry getting one more. It's currently still a bit flat, and they're still putting pressure on Basetto. Monty checking things, and it's almost like what we saw from the round before, but a bit slower, and it's not quite working as well. Angels gets on the back of Perez after Perez.
Ace able to open up in towards bathroom now, but I know Loud need to try and pick up the kills, and it's only going to be Flastry and Live who can really go for that. A plant being attempted in towards bathroom. Is the cover good enough? Pasetto is there. There's the C4. No. Down goes the Monty. Someone's going to have to try and replant. The smoke. Actually going to cover the line of sight. Able to pick it up, but no, not going to have enough time to get that.
Maybe they thought it was almost like, oh, it's just like the bottom of bank. We can just put him in the elevator and get him out. And no. Ooh. No surprise, you know, we see a lot of Deimos underneath. It's not always we see it that clean. Oh. But that was a wipe and a half. I just go for plant sooner rather than later. There it is. If they can get this one locked in, then at this point, as they try and cover the angles, the same sort of approach, they took what they needed, and there's the cover. There's 2 more kills. They've now lost this site.
Master.
Oh my god, you were right. The smoke, everything they could. Oh my god, he's playing tennis to try and bounce his way further forward, and he gets himself all the way up. In fairness, Pasetto has just done a massive bit of work, but as Mitrix gets one on the cover, might all be for nothing. There's the swing out of Florio, and there is everybody else falling. 9 seconds left, and a floor.
Is there any way that Angels can maybe try and drop off? I don't know. He's going to need to try to. He'll also be a dead man walking, essentially, and he has been able to get out there in towards the meeting as his teammates tried to come in to try and assist that, but he's actually been punished because of that. Angels, though, is out of there, so his teammate has died for the mute.
Oh, teammates are dying all over the shop. A 3 versus towards what is now only the single sort of swing, and you can see he's anticipating it. Just going to be a game of reactions, but against the DMR, it's a tough one to win, but he wins it either way. 3 versus 2, and now we've got go, go, go. In towards the building, in towards the site. SDK finds 1 and Flastry.
They didn't go for that.
The worst person in everybody's ranked stack would only play Blitz. Ooh, goodbye, Mitrix. Perez.
You too well. Maybe try and attempt the plant if you can, but I don't think it's needed. You'll probably kill them before you get to that stage.
Wow, there's another one falls to live, and they look for a bit of a swing. Oh, no, nobody is home outside. Waiting and hoping somebody tries to drift in, get closer and closer, but they're inside the site, inside the pressure, and inside the next engagement. SDK doubles down, drives through. There's 1, there's 2 Angels. 180s and decimates, but it's a 3 versus 1 with time for them to go for the kit. And Angel's actually just going to cover his back and try and rebuild on the opposite end. And this time, they've got themselves the plant. They could potentially get upstairs and watch this from above, depending on where they put it down, but there's more than enough angles and openings for them to have. And he's confident enough to just open it up. Pasetto tried to go for the little poke round. They get the shield out, and they get the smoke over. But as Live takes a lot of damage, Sexy Cake has the lockdown. There's at least 1 more, and I mean, an absolute murder has occurred, and SDK tried to sneak their way around the back. Got caught out by the first player, and finished inside Horse. 30 seconds, and a 5 versus 2, just spraying through the smoke. Hoping. Unfortunately, the hope was misplaced.
This will be good if he pulls this off. How much you want to bet?
Not at all.
Oh, yeah.
The pressure starts to mount on the opposite end there. Ooh, almost catching, and they do. Mitrix gets the head of Perez, drifted a bit boldly over the top of that hatch there, and shows the power of that rifle, swings its way in, takes that engagement, and, you know, not loud no more. Levels things up. They've been able to at least take out the Flores, which can be a big blow, especially when you look at the sort of hole that they can get themselves stuck in with a lot of bobs, but as more engagements trade back and forth, it's still the shield still standing. And that has been the sort of thorough line of everything on Fortress. Angels gets lucky in a gift as Pasetto caught and drifted across now. They have this vertical control. They have a fight. It's an awkward position. They're actually going to try and play against the feet, but they don't really want to fully invest in the stocks right now. Flastry's just done some of the damage to Sexy Cake, but credit to Sexy Cake, didn't give their life away. Box does, and there's Angel swinging around the corner. LFO, it's a 2 versus 1 with only a bit of time left. They're gonna see if they can try and make things stick, and they do. Angels! Let the wings fly! And there's the response inside all chat.
Oh, if he had crouched, by the way, I think he would have lived. Loud.
In their showdown against Black Dragons, but then they lost the other two. And then they won it.
Smoke and the Chanka almost getting taken out, but they're still alive. I mean, that's all that matters. As long as they've got 1 HP, they can still do the job. Never mind the Chanka. How is this Blackbeard just on the door, swinging into the bombs?
They have 2 smoke canisters in 20 seconds to try and contend and fight with. There's one more smoke, forces them out. That'll cover both the default plants. There's Angels getting Perez once again, still getting the crossfire, but they still need to make that kit land, and that needs some support on the back. SDK caught out from deep, from range. And one more smoke canister thrown out. Was it pop? 9 seconds. Are they just going to try and send it? It's deep cover that needs to come together. A player slips around the back and at it. They know roughly where that player is, tucked in close. And Angels desperately wants to go for the fight. It's just going to hop and take it. Sprays through and makes the final connection against Live. And I mean, that's that confidence we talked about. Sexy Cake gets on towards Perez as well. Eyes inside the sight. Either side of the breach. It's hot pressure, and Basetto, SDK, and Loud need to get some reaction. They're in a duel underneath, and Mitrix wins that one out. And I mean, Sexy Cake has gone down on the door of the site itself, but with the other players surrounding, there's Basetto finding the head of Angels. Wants to try and skins. They have a little bit of utility. That's kind of the cost right now. No more smoke. A couple of flame bolts. What can they do with it? Well, that's one thing. They throw it to the side and they just kill the man, leaving Basetto alone. The DMR on the back line with the long sight as the plant is being secured just inside the site itself. The pre-fine, they know exactly where he is, and there's one over the top at Mitrix. Something. They're sort of showing that they can end the year on that level of a high. Again, a great read-in, but Perez does find the opener here for the first time. A bit of joy coming to the side of Loud. Basetto doubles down on towards Mitrix. It is an off-site, but with 3 early bodies, this approach has not worked. I think it's fair to describe it. There's the last.
So LFO should, again, be feeling pretty confident. We will have a ban phase. Yeah.
Start to come together. They can't see through them. You can't move through them. That's worse at this point, because they're just going to try and sit and watch and wait. They hit the shield, and Brock is actually able to get rid of Live. Flashtree gets Sexy Cake on the trade out, and well, they got to peel themselves further back. 17 seconds. Still one more smoke canister. Flashtree gets one more for his trouble. There's a C4 in the pocket as well. There's the last smoke canister rip. Florio's going to hold onto the plant, but the C4 is Flashtree's third for the round. As you said, too little, too late. Oh, there's one. And then 2 versus 2. Foxera's going to hold onto the kit.
From Loud here, Emmy. It's working well for them. They know they still have smoke. They still have some form of util. As long as they can hold on to that, they'll be fine. And there's Flashtree gets the first pick.
They're going for the plant itself. Are they going to get this secured in the meantime? They've put the pressure on. It's a post-plant situation. Technically, they had the defenders out. Whether the smoke tried to go very loose at the end there, tucked just in on the breach. And this is one of the toughest retakes that there is, especially when they've still got the controller square. The C4 isn't going to quite net the kill. They know there's a player up there, but you've got to try and push up a set of stairs. Florio is able to find one. There's the spray round and the lock of Perez. But still, this 1 versus 1 could be the decider. There's a bit of support that comes around the corner and gets caught out. Somehow, Sexy Cake 1 on the flank. A 1 versus 2. Can't get to the kit in time. LFO Deimos in an ATM, drawing attention, and oh no, everywhere else has fallen away. They're watching, they're catching. Flashtree,
he killed him
somehow.
Did he get a move on?
Setting up a sequential breach.
At this point here, you know, you said they were able to take the rest of the map, but now they've got to try and get themselves in on the site. As Goyos, as you've said, Florio is able to get the cover. They're just going to have to go for a bit of a dip dash and dive in towards it.
Breach.
Hops in, tucks in close, is just going to tuck the corner. No, goes for the fight. The cover is harsh and sort of partially there. There's the watch. Dropped the kit, swapped it over. Trying to lock in. Has the wherewithal, but it's the swing round of Flashtree.
And a really difficult scenario there for the Blackbeard. 2 players, both be on for an overtime here.
Yeah. Oh, perfectly so. As I said, what's great about this game is it doesn't feel like player's life. He's looking for the fight on the other side of the Monty, but he doesn't want to get entirely surrounded. What is going on? Gets one out. Should not have been able to piece that one together, especially with the Monty breathing down the back of his neck. A 4 versus 4, yeah, fine, Mitrix is dead, but he's played his life and his gadgetry and all the time in the world. Now they've got to see if they can try and stick the kit down in the site itself. There's still a C4 that can be the op-all and the end-all, and that doesn't quite actually get the kill. Perez, though, is able to find one as the blinds come out, spraying on. It's a crossfight across the top. They're going for the plant. They can't get the...
Down that man advantage. Will get a little bit aggro, and oh, that's what I see exactly from Angels, getting very aggro. He's on the other side. Oh, just sees a sliver of life. Can he get back in, though? That's the question. There's a guy in the window. Here's the keeper. Yes, get back in. Oh, what a snatch and grab. Oh, what's this?
But if he wins this... Oh, he doesn't know. Does he know? Well, they know. Perez gets one more. They're going for the plant itself. They've played the bait. There's the motion. Perez is able to get himself another for his trouble. He just leaves Florio alone. Not for very long. To be that team building, team bonding moment. Haven't forced the elevator player back down the hatch. Haven't forced the player out the bottom of blue, but they have taken all of the smoke canisters, and, well, there's the fight and there's the pressure. Sexy Cake wins it out, though. Paceto gone. Sexy Cake looks for a second and finds it. There goes live. And there goes back towards the site. Perez, in the meantime, finds Mitrix. And they're waiting to see if they can get one more engagement. Perez is in the site, though, with the kit. Doesn't feel confident going for the plant. There's probably an echo drone watching. I feel like we're going to hear that sound in a moment. In fact, no, we don't. What is going on? They've found their way back round. There's another couple of kills. It goes out in towards their favor. There's a dropout. Perez is able to get himself 1.5, but there's a player rotating around the back of him. It's being called out. This engagement, he somehow gets a team kill, but he gets the final one. Oh, okay.
That's not how you attack that basement. That felt like a slight issue there, I think, again, just based on operator selection, but they're still trying to make things happen. And oh, that's a good pick from Perez. A very good trade, though, from Sexy Cake. That's
now, at this point, Box is holding on as best he can on towards elevator, but as that fire extinguisher gets popped, he's more worried about the chance of being swung on himself rather than supporting the structure. But with 9 seconds left, buddy, they're going to be heading in and on towards the site itself. There's the catch. Went for the rotate around the top, didn't quite work, so instead a shotgun right around the middle, but couldn't quite get the pop on the player he wanted. Oh, it's falling apart here, lads. We've got to start trying to cook up a response instead. Either side of it, Paceto's trying to get the shield inside, but now there's going to be nothing to disturb the sight lines. There's more smoke. There's an easy pickup from behind. And at this point, you know, this is probably going to be a 6-5. Well, there's more bodies to pile up and add to that theory. They hope. Trying to fight their way here up towards the top of the blue and only finding the shield as a friend, but Perez does find Angels. Finds that cover, and that's the risk now. Instead of it being a Monty, that was just stack him up and knock him down. I mean, here's the pin pulled. And doesn't even care. You assume there was a ping on the player there for Flashtree to make that decision, but here is the attempt on the lock-in. They've got the attention of Tachanka. They cannot go for the flame canister on the far side, so it's a post-plant situation here. Loud might be locking themselves in this map. A very tough and tricky retake. They're going to see if they can isolate the single player that they know first, but no way up green or the main stairs. There's a bit of a revenge from Sexy Cake, but caught out in the long distance. Loud get themselves map 2. We, for the second time, are going to have a 3-map series.
yeah. Loud. I think they dealt with that smoke really well, using the shield to push his way in.
Is that jewel in the crown? Not the crown in the jewel. That doesn't make sense. I was waiting to be right. I'll sip my coffee and said, oh my gosh. Hey! They almost die up the very first engagement. An aggressive peek up towards the hatch, but nobody is home. Instead, it's a Solace out on a run out. Is caught. In fact, no, isn't caught. It's all over the shop. Sexy Cake finally does get got. They double dip to get STK. A 4 versus 2 demo.
2v3 now. This is the tense kill right here. If he able to pick him off, then a 1v3 should be pretty doable. But no, live! Oh no! Has had a bit of an insight, thinking, you know what, he might be there, takes a shot, finds the kill, but there's the DMR for Bruxera. 1v2. Would have heard Flashtree drop down red also, so this should just be an easy crossfire 1v2. see Flashery winning this. As long as ENX just play it well.
Throwing the flash in. Doesn't know if they're on the sort of close drop of the second. There will be a pop-up. There's the reveal, but as you said, it's a cross angle they just need. They just need to play this as a 1 versus 2, and they do.
Oh dear, they've left the lights on, but they forgot to play in the bomb site.
I mean, what a way for that to slip their way through. Loud, they said, we've had enough of this slow break. Let's just smash our way in. Saw an opportunity, took it, and Pasetto gets one as they back their way out the door. Still got a shield. Yeah, you've got some of the eyes on verticality, but with no holes and no watch and no idea and no more bodies left to throw at the problem. I mean, welcome back in towards Cafe, LFO. Loud. In fairness, did absolutely everything before and how things went wrong. It seems like that's been their MO. Get in the building, don't give them the option. Sprayed on the narrow angle, pressure on towards the back windows, and SDK drifts around one. Perez gets the second. Angels does find Perez, level things up a bit, but look at the position he's in. He's being surrounded. They're going to go for the pressure. They swing round, get the kill. There's one more for the trouble. It's a 3 versus 1. There's the fight. There's the call. Oh my gosh, they're just circling here. This is a wild pack, and the plant is going on behind him. They've got themselves locked round. They're keeping him at bay. Does find one on the door, but it's a post-plant situation. You assume it's right by the window on train, so they can just hop their way out, watch from the side of the machinery, and be done with it. Maybe there's even an air jab in that sort of situation as well. Has to cross a great divide here. Yep, there's the plant. Could be watched from above. Could be absolutely anywhere.
And bang. On the cafe, it's as though that they've removed one half of their brain and put in like a new one. It's like they've changed.
Be like, well, they're both off site, but now everyone goes, they're both off site. They could just try and rotate the kid in. They've got the blinds on towards the A position. Pasetto's going to try and make his way in, maybe from the bakery door. Perez! I think he was as surprised as anybody to be in that position, and Box is able to get one, but there's the cross angle. They have themselves deep, but Pasetto has one. There's 2! The STK, but Perez and Box Era have also found little bits pain on their own side, but at this point, I mean, they're still opening up their angles towards the site. There's the first, though. Flashery finally finds an opening kill. Can it be the floodgates that start to crack their way forward? They're focusing on maybe the A site, maybe the B. They're playing and flirting with the danger of both, but Florio finds Perez in the meantime and levels things up. 10 seconds now are in towards the red numbers. We're going to see if they can start to come up for the favor of the attackers, but they're struggling. They don't have the cross. They just get caught as they dive their way in. Pasetto does have the split, spraying and hoping. Field is in. Has itself the crossfire. Found a second. What was that attempt, really? There's at least the kill that was picked back up.
So we could utilize that and see if he can play off, and he will go for the phone call, but is he aware that Sexy Cake has went for that massive rotate in through pillar? No, he's not. He's been picked off.
Just going to see if they can stick a plant. They're worried about the swing either side, obviously. They've got a bit more time. There's the go for the plant. There's going to be a bit of the motion. They're hoping and waiting. Pre-fire the angle. There it is over the top, though, and actually around the side.
Attack now.
Okay. Is that the only reason?
Same way that we're all worried about Falcons come SI. Same thing.
Yeah. That's...
Whenever you have a history, and it has punished from it, I mean, he just seen that guy, and he's like, oh, he's gone, he's back in his rattle, and oh! Picks up STK for some reason, makes a hole over towards 90, and yeah, just give himself up for free. I don't know why he's done that.
That C4...
Oh.
I mean, it was almost caught, but they were safe from it either way. Not safe from that, though. Popped up, put down. Perez just shoved it out of the round. Wanted to see if somebody would pop round from Wash, but as Flashery gets Sexy Cake, and this is that worry. Pre-firing the angles. Does actually run out of bullets just when he finally sees the man. It's like a dream where you're running on the spot. And now another C4. Not finding its mark, but Mitrix being aggressively surrounded here. Has a flash in pocket and 2 frags. But isn't long. Do you sit there until you go up with a little bit of motion elsewhere? E1Ds pop in. They've got, I was going to say eyes on pillar, but no, because they blind themselves. There's the motion. Is it too sharp for this Kai? Doesn't matter. Everybody's already dead. A great smash in here. From the side of LFO, they've been able to rip apart the defenders. The C4 on towards 90 isn't quite going to catch anybody. The spray round on the blind as Flashery does find Florio, but that doesn't last very long. Sexy Cake confirming the plant. They drop the flank, but at this point, 1 versus 4, 1 versus 3. Post plant. Probably a little bit too much over the pale. They've got somebody right there. Gone, maybe unknown, as you said. Are they going to be propped up on sync? Will they be on coffee? They're on both, buddy. And they're hoping they make friends. They do. There's 1, there's 2! Fish in a barrel. And that leaves just Angel alone here. And can't get the kill out.
Didn't they, to really get things going? And again, time obviously plays into a bit of an issue with it as well, but just back and forth. No team.
It's live and not too far away from the engagement. They have the verticality. They tried to get the blitz on the smash in. There's an impact. There's an attempt to follow them through. There's a chase and a blind, and Perez does get one. There's Flastry with the cover. Too hungry for the feast ahead of them, Perez.
Oh dear.
Make sure that the run around doesn't quite net anything. A 3 versus 2, and yeah, they just... I'm not going to say they fell for the bait, more that it was great support ready from the side of Loud.
Everyone switched on. Flashtree again. Got that all-important kill using the vertical angles. It's going to be a plant attempt, and that's a great shot. And 2. Now into the 1v1. 20 seconds. Flashtree with the DMR. We just mentioned how he is the man of the minute. On the side of Loud.
Now, the big player here could be Mitrix on the far side. He's got himself just above the pillar door on towards the window. Probably going to try and swing in and draw some attention. There's another body gone down again, shooting over the shoulder of Sexy Cake, a tried and tested and true method. And, well, they just flood open spaces. But roam potential, it's a bit of quick motion. SDK waited for the audio. Shot through, and his Christmas wish by that tree was he wished...
Pops off right now.
Oh, he's... Oh, so close! And there's the crossfire! No way! SDK cuts them off, and Sexy Cake does find one. From the other side, and... Oh, hit with a smoke of their own. You could almost see the panic in where they wanted to go, but there's at least one of the kills over the verticality. Box error. Finds STK, but 30 seconds. Cross the divide. And Live is able to get themselves in. They have an awareness of where the pressure's going to come, and Live's going to go for the flank. It's a bit of a risk. In fact, no, he's not going to go all the way. The pings come out, but Perez goes down. If he's going to make a risk, he's got to play it off soon. Boxera's just killing people on the top floor. Now it's just the 2 inside the site, but with 10 seconds, they need to try and get it to stick. And as I said, they don't have the coverage. Moves in towards the flash grenade itself. There's Basetto getting one. There's the second follow through. But with 4 seconds, no kit, they've got to send it all the way. There's one, lies down, they get him in time. That's not supposed to go there. But in terms of the gun, in terms of just being able to set up a trade game, well, that's bad. And Angel's almost being caught as the follow-through. That's almost even worse. They're blinded out. Flastry finds one. Basetto gets another, a 5 versus 2. And here, inside the site, Florio is able to find one, but he's the only one left standing. With the kit, all surrounded. And they're just going to push that one. Worried how close they are. There's a smoke canister on the position. 20 seconds now, and they've got to make something happen. The Shorty is going to see if it can try and pop and lock quite close. There's the plant being attempted. There's a bit of motion and a couple of kills that are traded out here. Loud. They're in a post-plant situation, but it's a 3 versus 2. 3 versus 1. Sexy Cake. All that's left inside the site finds one. Can't get 2. And Loud, the team that will progress with the volume that they have earned on what has been a hell of a series.
Oh, yeah. The reading was on. They droned...